My name is Tiffany. I'm from Honduras, and I'm currently getting my MBA at UK in Gatton's one-year program. I also did my undergrad at UK, and I got a dual degree in business management and equine science. I was looking for a big campus, and school spirit was really important to me. And so when I was looking at colleges, I wanted somewhere where sports was a big thing, because that was not something I was really exposed to a lot growing up. In terms of like my high school, it was really small. So I also wanted the school to have a lot of like career support, because at the time, you know, I was still figuring out what exactly I wanted to do. Even if I followed the pre-med route, I wanted that to be something important that I learned more about throughout my 4 years in undergrad. I knew there were going to be horses, and that was pretty much it. And it was something that I noticed as soon as you come into Bluegrass Airport, the first thing you see is a big poster of horses, and it's like, welcome to Lexington. And I was like, okay, this is awesome, I can do this place. And so my mom was here for the World Equestrian Games in 2010, and she fell in love with Lexington. I had been riding horses since I was 10, so that was something that obviously Lexington, Kentucky is known as the horse capital of the world. So it really drew me here. I applied and I got a scholarship. At first I was doing pre-med, and I realized that biology, chemistry, doing that for the rest of my life was really not something that I wanted to do. So I started, looking at different avenues, seeing what I could do, and I didn't know that equine science was a major. I was like, this is awesome, I can study horses, it's what I love. So I started doing that, and the program requires economics and accounting courses. So when I took those, I realized that not only was I really good at them, was doing good in classes, but I really enjoyed that. So the business aspect was something that I wanted to include, and that's when I declared my second degree. And now I'm pursuing my MBA. So I think that one of the best things I did while I was at UK was getting involved. It really was useful in creating those connections and just expanding my perspective on things. There have been quite a few people that have had significant impact during my time at UK. In terms of professors, I would say Professor Kern, he's a professor in Gatton, and he taught me entrepreneurship, but part of his class was a lot of life lessons. So when I saw him at graduation last year, we took a photo, and it was so exciting. He's one of my favorite professors for sure. And he taught me a lot about hard work through his class and being able to go for what you want. So I think that's something very nice. And then staff, I've spent 2 years now with Andrea at the International Center, and she has been awesome. Actually just had a resume review with her, and I now know that I need to, ramp up my resume, but that has been a great experience, great mentor to have. UK has impacted me in many different ways, but I think I'll touch upon the career aspect, because I wouldn't really have had this career path that I'm looking to go into now if it weren't for UK. So first off, my job right now in marketing, that's something that has shown me how much I really enjoy marketing, and that is probably something I want to do for the rest of my life, that business aspect in marketing. Aside from that, UK really encourages students to be goal-driven and reach for what they want. So that's something that I think has really been instilled in me in these past 5 years here. And being in the MBA program, it's the one-year program, which is very fast-paced, 55 credit hours in a year. So it can get pretty crazy, but it's something that has really taught me how to be a professional, but also always take care of yourself, take time for yourself and go reach those goals, but make sure that you're intact when you get there, because it's kind of useless if you're absolutely exhausted. So that's something that UK has really taught me, that it's fine to be fast-paced and always be go, 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 but there's some time for play too. So I think that's nice. ways that I was building community at UK, I think I've done that on campus and off campus. So I'll start with my on-campus experience. That was, it started with International Student Council, which I joined my sophomore year. And at first I was elected vice president, and later on I was president that year. And one of my goals was to connect international students with American students, because I felt like a lot of times as internationals we tend to get like just trapped in our own circle, which isn't a bad thing, but I think that part of coming to college in the US is being immersed in, you know, the culture and that experience and making friends that aren't your same nationality. So we did that through a lot of fundraisers, different events. It was a very fun experience. Got to meet a lot of new people and make many new friends. But I've really grown a lot as a person, and I think that UK was the perfect place for me to do that, because it is a big campus, as I mentioned earlier, but it's a big community too, where people are always supportive of you and want to help out. I think diversity is exemplified by all the different countries represented at UK, but also the support that the international community receives, whether that's from the International Center or from the different colleges at UK. There's always something, you know, like emphasizing that, whether, as I mentioned, whether it's an event or during teamwork, even in the classroom, there's always time to mingle with other people that have different perspectives from you. Like sometimes even like people from Kentucky are completely different from people from California, and they're from the same country. And that, to me, I think I've learned that that's also part of diversity. So it's been cool to get to see all those aspects. Community is always growing at UK, so I like that. The first few people I met were actually at the International Student Orientation. Of course, everyone was international, so it was interesting because we were all navigating the same experience. Like we were all, you know, trying to figure out what we were going to be doing for the next 4 years and where that was going to be taking place. So that was very interesting. But after that, my roommate, as I said, she's actually from California, and she was a transfer student, which I think was something that really I used to my advantage, and because she already knew college life, she was older, so in a way I'm always like, she took me under her wing, and like she forbid me from doing like the freshman lanyard thing with the ID that everyone does. So, you know, I kind of had an interesting experience in that sense, because I was able to get a perspective from an upperclassman. She was, I think, a junior at the time. So I think that if there was one thing I could tell international students, is to not be afraid to meet people that are completely different from you. Because though you might think that they're not accepting maybe, or that they're not interested in that, that's not the truth. I think everyone at UK comes here looking for that diverse experience and just opening your mind to different aspects of the world. So I think that that's something I would say. And when traveling, when you go back to your home country and then fly back to Lexington, I would say my number one rule is always wear something Kentucky, because you are bound to see a Kentucky person there that will recognize your Kentucky gear, and they are always super welcoming and will immediately make you feel like you're at home. Like I always go through Georgia coming back from Honduras, and this one time I was wearing my Kentucky hoodie, and this lady, she was like, "Oh my gosh, like you're from Kentucky?" So I was like, "No, I'm from Honduras." Told her like my life story, and she bought me a coffee and like talked to me like the entire time at the gate. It's just, you know, that part of community at UK is something that I think is very hard to get somewhere else, and it's bundled up with Southern hospitality, so it's really a very comforting, welcoming experience. I will always be a UK fan now. Like people say, like once a Wildcat, forever a Wildcat, and I think that's true. But I will definitely miss that like adrenaline rush you get, whether it's at a basketball game, football game, Keeneland, you know, and so that's definitely my number one thing I'll miss.